Hi.
Hi.
Hello. How's everyone? How you guys
Happy
doing?
Sunday.
Yes, happy Sunday. Happy time zones, which are finally back to being aligned.
Our magic time is over. We're back to
Oh,
being 5 hours apart.
yes, I can't watch your live streams anymore as much because last time it was brilliant that you were on at 11 p.m. my time instead of midnight my time. It's like, this is great.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure everyone knows who we are, but if you don't, we're the Lazy Gang. We stream inconsistently. You're on my channel, but we do swap around. So this time it's on mine, next time it's on Anna's, etc. We usually have topics that we want to talk about regarding writing, and then we do some sprints to get productive. So,
Yeah.
Anna, would you like to tell me what's going on with you? Introduce yourself, what
Yeah.
you've got coming up, and what you're working on.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday. We have a rainy Sunday here in Georgia, so I'm excited to just cozy up and get writing.
I've got the
Um,
opposite.
yeah, that's all you want. Um, I'm working on my romantasy book. I'm working on Hera's book. I'm like slowly working my way towards the end. I finished this week. I finished a big like battle scene that I was really stuck on that was taking like 4 or 5 sittings to get through.
Love a battle scene.
So we're through that one. I still have like quite a few really big intimidating scenes at the end of this book that I'm really stumbling my way through, but we're going to start another one of those today. So yeah, that's me.
Exciting.
How about you? What are you working on?
So I'm Malin. I don't even say that, but you can say my name. And I'm outlining today, but actually I'm not because I finished outlining right before this stream.
Wow, great job.
I'm gonna be filming my vlog about it because I haven't filmed about it. And I mean, I've been filming a little B-roll vlogs bits, but not me talking about the outline in a little while. So I'm working on Project Alien at the moment.
Yes.
And it is inspired by the Alien franchise because I love space horror.
Hmm.
So that's what I want to write about. But I love a romance and I love a bit of the mummy vibes. So it's essentially
Always.
it's a mix of all of these things, right? I've got a bit of a himbo character, very rich
Oh,
and
fun.
money coded, but in space and with zombies. So
Oh my gosh, so fun. Are you
I have
outlining
been
like in Notion or what's
I'm
the
outlining in
tool?
Notion. I'm
Hmm.
doing a table format and trying to figure out Save the Cat beats as well as a character beat sheet sitting opposite. So I've got like a bit of more
Mm,
internal things that are going on in my main character at the same time as the external plot.
yeah.
And I was finally doing the last bits where I've got in my act three, the finale scenes, like all of the gather the team, execute the plan, hire tower surprise, all of these that have
Hmm.
been coined by Save the Cat, right? So I was trying to figure these out. There are some that I'm a little bit iffy about, and things that I'm like, this feels like it's going to be hard to figure out when I'm actually writing it.
Yeah.
So I think before I'm calling it fully done, I'm going to go through my outline because there's some things I wrote before other things that come after. So I'm just going to check these bits, everything makes sense, and then maybe highlight anything that I'm not sure about and still need to figure out
Oh
something
my
better.
gosh.
I think
Exciting.
I'll do the proper outlining work because I have one last day. Is March 30 days or 31 days? I was
31.
21. Okay. Yeah, I have one last day tomorrow as well to finish off anything about this outline. And then officially I'd like to start drafting in April.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
so yeah. That's all.
Exciting.
And I'm also vlogging everything and filming everything and being super transparent. The only reason you might not get all of the information about this book on my vlogs is because time, and they would be so fucking long if I told you everything.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to be transparent about everything, including like the endings and things like that, and just how I'm
Hmm.
working on this. Because I wanted to do that as a bit of an experiment of come and write a book with me, outline the book with me, draft the book with me, revise the book with me
Hmm.
on one project. So
Yeah.
Project Alien is the one that I'm doing that on.
This is your Tabiffo.
There you go.
Yeah.
This is my deliverable. I
So
just want
fun.
to be super open about it. So that'll be interesting. Should we say hi to the chat? We have a
Yeah.
few people today. We've got a Stig. Yay. Another lazy Sunday. We've got a Marta. Hello, hello.
Hi.
We've got a Leah. Hello, hello.
Hi.
Keiko joining us. Hi. Haley, hi, how you doing? And another hi from Steve, who I'm assuming commented a while ago and then came back later to say hi. The times changed, yes. And also super sunny in the UK today. So excuse my face. I've just spent too long in the sun. I did have sunscreen on, but I didn't reapply it as often as I should have. So
Malin got a little baked.
A little bit red in the cheeks. Also, like, you got to remember, we don't see the fucking sun for months on end in the UK, and then suddenly it's like, boom. It's
I know. It's so funny that you're having a beautiful sunny day and I'm having a rainy day.
I know. Yes, well, and finally, the world makes sense. Hi, Casey. How are you? That makes so much sense. What was that about? The world
talking about the times.
Yes. We're finally aligned. Yes. Which is also why I waited until today to set up the stream, because I was like, I don't want to have to do weird math in my head.
Nope.
I was like, I'm gonna wait until we have changed time. Keiko says 1 week until vacation and then Hell Week, aka Eastern holidays. Oh, I imagine in your workplace it's Hell Week. I'm excited because my parents are coming over to London, so that'll be fun.
Nice.
Hi, Michael.
Hi.
How are you? Nice to see you there. Thanks for that. I was confused about why I slept in so much this morning without noticing. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And this morning I was like, I'm so tired. I don't understand why. I want to stay in bed. And I was like, oh, we changed time.
Yeah, time changes really, really mess with me.
Yeah. So exhausted today. Yeah, we lost an hour. We lost an hour of sleep. Lazy Gang streaming channel when?
No, we need the watch hours.
Yeah, we need the watch hours. We're both at over 1,000 subscribers with no money. Hi, Nina. How are you? Steek says, I've already written my word count for the day. Plan was 400. 625. You go, Glen Coco. Oh my God.
Yeah. Steek, I was looking at your March sheet this morning and you have just crushed it. Like, you have been the little engine that could. Like, your 8,000 words for the month is freaking awesome.
Absolutely killing it.
Great job. I have like struggled to scrape 5,000.
And getting the motivation to write more now, even though you've gone over your word count for the day. Amazing.
Love
it's
it.
Like the mindset has changed. I love it. Because you were struggling more at the beginning of it. And then I feel like as you did that challenge, it's become more and more motivating for you, which is like what we want from a challenge. So at the break into 3 beats, everything has gone to shit. Oh, I love that. Not Malin finishing a writing goal before even starting the stream. Yeah, but I've got more stuff to do. I'm still excited. I want to vlog about it and finish the vlog and all of that. So all good. Madeline wiped the blood from her bro and took a swig from the bottle. I guess we both made some pretty bad choices. Cassie chuckled, but it turned into a girl as he clutched his eyes. Madeline handed him the bottle and he grabbed it, taking a few desperate gulps. Sister, he said with a wry smile, what do you say we made one last spectacularly bad one?
Yes! Oh my God. I can't wait to read this book. Hi, Sam.
Hi, Sam. Yes, the himbo. Yeah, because Sam's head, she Googled what a himbo was when I said Axel was going to be a himbo. Yeah. He's not he's more like Rick coded type of himbo. Like, he's not a complete idiot either. Like, he's got his own agenda and everything as well. But it's just, I don't want him to have a gigantic arc or anything like that, because I want to focus on my main character. So, yeah. Martha says, I'm going to spend the stream on video editing because I can't believe it's almost April. I'm still editing a video from early Feb. Okay, fair enough.
Girl, me too. Don't worry about it.
Nice, fair. Kika says, prepping for rough draft challenge. Also managed to unpack my planner for this year and hung up the calendar.
Oh,
nice.
There you go. It's never too late.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll catch up on editing before April so I can fully immerse myself in April adventures. Yes, I can't wait. That's going to be fun.
Exciting.
Whatever you do, I don't recommend pantsing your project. The struggle is real. Yeah, it's been fully outlined, but soon over. The old Wallace treatment or Katie's witch book.
That too?
Yeah. Good morning or afternoon or evening. Hi, Susan. How are you? Hi, Daisha's dollar bills. What a name. Fantastic.
Are you like a cash stuffing channel? That's cool.
That is very cool. Good time zone as well. Yay. No need to excuse your face. You look lovely. Thank you. I just feel a bit red, but that's fine. It looked like it's on purpose. I've
Yeah.
put some, some blush on. So sunny today. Went to sit on the balcony this morning after like less than 2 minutes. I was like, nope, too much sun. Back inside it. Are you Spanish, Marta? Shouldn't you be craving the sun?
I was gonna say.
Rainy in Colorado this morning. There you go.
Mhm.
How many watch hours to go? I don't
Oh
know.
boy.
Can check if you want. I think too many. I think too many.
I think I'm at 2,500, so I've got a ways. It's not in the realm of possibility for me.
I need another 1,000. So you guys are good. You don't need to give me the watch hours. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. With me posting monthly, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Every time I post a video, one's falling off of eligibility, so it's a non
constant struggle of our inconsistencies.
Yeah. Will it motivate me to be consistent? No, absolutely not.
This is why we live up to our gang name.
That's right.
Gang,
That's right.
Choo choo, I know. Okay.
Okay. Choo choo.
I can't. This is the problem when I'm not quick enough with the comments. I don't remember what things were about. So some of the time I'll be like, I don't know what that was about. Also, hi.
Hi, Duisha.
Do we need to organize an old lazy gang streams playlist for? There is one. It's linked in the description.
Yes.
I don't ever do the work that Anna dutifully does, which is to put things together and to change the videos' names to like something relevant to the stream that happened. And I forget every time. So
I think it's fun.
I'm 3 or 4 late, so I need to like go back and be like, what should I call this one?
You guys can comment below what Malin should title her streams.
Yes, exactly. Because normally we'll find a funny quote from the stream and like, let's name it that. Like there's one that's like, is that a Tiffany lamp?
If you know, you know.
There you go. Leah also needs to edit videos. It was very sunny, says Marja, in defense of her, controversial, not controversial, opposite. I don't know what to call it. The fact that she's Spanish but doesn't want the sun. Leah says, I'm from the south of France and hate the heat. Yeah, that makes no sense to me. Again, I feel like if you're from a place that is really sunny, you should embrace the sun. Or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe because I live in the UK, there's so little of it. I'm like constantly trying to get it.
Yes.
Are you Spanish sun but vampire moon? Love it. I think it's the position of that balcony because I went on a walk and was completely fine. But on the balcony, there's reflections from everywhere. Yeah. She called me the little engine.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Choo choo, Anna. Indeed, got it.
That's right. That's right.
And it was a Tiffany lamp.
It was.
All right, that was all of the comments. Why don't I pop up our topic for the day first of all, which is the spark of an idea. For 1 second, I'm just gonna go and prepare a sprint because I've not done that because. Just living up to our name once again. And you know what? I might use one of my own.
Please do.
Maybe the plain one.
Gorgeous.
I'm craving a holiday. I think it's really obvious I'm craving a freaking holiday.
Yeah, me too.
Let me just... Okay, I've got it open so I can just set up the time after. We're going to show our first question, but we won't answer it yet. We'll jump into our first sprint and then have a little think about the question and then come back and talk about it after the first sprint. So our first question is, what has been the initial spark for some of your book ideas? And when I'm saying spark, I don't just mean like you really love this book and that show and you want to mash them up, but more like, have you had like one scene that has been like, this is what makes me want to write this. I need to write this, thinking about this.
Yeah.
So has there been a scene you picture in your head with characters? Like, does it have background music? Is it whenever you listen to a specific song and you're picturing that one scene? Hi, Edgar. Or is it like basically that kind of spark is what I'm asking about? And Stieg says, Sandy Beach Diamond next. Yes, we can do that.
Request received.
Yes, Leah, you have to answer. No, you don't have to, but you should answer the questions too. We'll answer the question, you'll answer the question, we'll all answer the questions, and we'll go through the comments afterwards. That's the goal. I'm gonna share the timer. This has changed. StreamYard has changed. Sorry, I'm gonna get confused for a second. Of course, I'm gonna put my 1 hour playing timer. We won't do 1 hour. Should we do 30 minutes?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Let's do 30 minutes. Oh, I went too quick. Not cinema mode, just full screen. Okay, that should be working. I'll leave the question up so that people can answer it during the sprint if they want to. If everyone is ready, let's go.
Good luck.
Struggling to unmute myself.
So I have to plug my headset back in. Hopefully I sound okay.
How did that sprint go for you?
Oh, that was good. I did some bullet journal stuff at first. So I just took care of a couple like admin-y things. And then, yeah, I had to start a new scene. So we got 300 words into that.
Exciting. Nice.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
I tried to film as much as possible, but I'm now going through my All Is Lost in my vlog, and this is where I've got some convoluted things that happened that I'm not entirely sure about, so I'm sort of struggling walking through it on vlog as well, so I had to stop midway, but yeah, I've got the entirety of Act 3 to explain still, which is why I'm going to have to cut this down drastically when I actually edit it, which I'm not looking forward to, but yeah, otherwise it's going to be such a long vlog.
Yeah, I feel that about the All Is Lost beat though too. Like every time I do outlines, that is the part that just gets really, really fuzzy. And I don't know if that's because I'm still learning about internal arcs.
No, see, I know my internal arc and I can't figure out how to make it happen in the external plot.
Yeah,
that's my problem. Because,
exactly.
I know that I want my main character Themis to feel like it's her fault that they lose a character. But I think the character is going to be like presumed dead, but I don't want that character to be dead. So, so it's going to be a character that is, cut off from the rest of the group, and it's sort of Themis's fault, but I'm like, because it's got like a zombie thing and it's an action scene and everything, I'm trying to figure out how did it happen. Maybe they have to climb up a hatch or something and the character gets grabbed by the ankle. I don't know, like something. It's just so hard to make it work until I'm probably in it. So I'm just leaving little highlighted bits where I'm like, this will need to be fixed in post.
Yeah, it's really hard to make that realization come about organically or like in a way that feels naturally without the character just suddenly going like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, I need my character to like go and cry in a corner, but how do I get in there? Why are they getting in the corner now?
Yeah.
We had our little question popped up before we started. Do we want to answer this now and then go through the comments?
Sure.
I'll just go in order of the comments, so there'll be a mix of what people have done and the answer to the question, because I can't be asked to separate both. So.
Sounds good. Sure. So for Hera's book, actually, I owe the spark to, there's a YouTube channel. Oh God, I should have found it. A YouTube shorts channel that she does like shorts where she like reenacts little bits of stories, and they're literally like writing prompts, but she like acts them out.
That's so cute.
It's really cool. She mostly does a lot of like thriller stuff, but there was one that she did that was about like reincarnation, and it was like the character like wakes up and then has to get sent back to do their life over again or something. And so that's not really the plot of Hare's book, but it definitely got me thinking about reincarnation as a plot device. And then I kind of spiraled off and made my own
and it's
story.
Very indie now. Like there's it's starting to take off as a trend. I've predicted based on the amount of Korean mangas I've seen that are doing that trope, and the fact that now we're starting to get traditionally published books. Like there's a second one I remember seeing that has been announced that has that trope, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of crossover from the manhwas into like Western media, which is really exciting. So I'm so down for reincarnation stories. So even though the short was different, that definitely got me thinking. So yeah, as far as a scene, I think what the scene that I probably first came up with and that got me really obsessed with it was so the setup is, Hera is like a reincarnated holy warrior, but her holy partner is already in the next life. They got separated somehow. And so the scene that came to me first was him haunting her and talking to her from the next life and trying to convince her to move on, using whatever tools and ploys he can. So that was initially my obsession.
I love it. I mean, I love it. Obsessed. I want to read.
How about you?
I might just say about Project Alien because that's the one I'm currently outlining, rather than plunge into all the other potential projects I could be talking about. For Project Alien, I have been rewatching the entirety of the Alien movie franchise, and that's no secret.
Excellent.
It's like, I actually do really enjoy space horror, and I've always enjoyed reading it. And I love scenes like, in movies where it's like there's a distress call from a ship, and when you arrive on board, everyone's dead and you don't know why.
Yeah, spooky.
I love that kind of stuff. So I feel like I've always wanted to write something that give off that feeling, that vibe.
Kind of Illuminae vibes.
Do you know what? I've not read Illuminae, so
you gotta.
I gotta. Is it YA?
It is, but it gets real spooky.
Okay. This is the thing, is I'm really struggling with picking up YA at the moment, and I have loads in my wrapped up books on my bookshelf, and every time I go to the adult ones as much as I can. So I need to like get over the fact that some YA books are still okay, and I should still
I feel that. I don't really love YA that much anymore, but I mean, I think you probably know this already, but Illuminae is all found files.
Yes, I do enjoy. To be fair, that is an easy read.
It makes it go by really quick.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was sort of the initial spark for it. At the same time, I was watching, funnily enough, as someone who's just said I don't read YA anymore, I was watching such a teenager show that is on Netflix, which is Surviving Summer, that I feel like no one's talked about ever.
I've not heard of it at all.
It's like on Netflix, and it's like a group of surfing kids that are there's this girl gets sent off by her mother from New York or something to Australia, and she meets all of these kids that are really into surfing, etc. And I sort of watch it as like such an easy watch. There's no plot really. There is a plot, I'm exaggerating, but it's so teenager plot that I don't care. So it's kind of a nice background show. Season 2 has a very hot, I can't say that, he's a teenager, a very good looking, adult looking teenager that, to be fair, I think the actor is probably adult, but still. That was my inspiration for Axel, just because I feel like I love, like, he's got dyed pink hair, and I was like, oh my god, I love this vibe.
That's so fun.
It was just immediately like such a fun vibe. And then there's like a love triangle that forms. Not really like a love triangle. I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched the entirety of season 2, but I know that by the end of the season, I don't think she chooses the character I would like her to choose. There's a bit of a tension thing. And I love like how bitchy and stupid some of the tropes are, because there's like the character she was with or she was interested in season 1 now has a new girlfriend, and she's like really jealous and bitchy and and I was like, I want to bring that to zombies in space.
Right. Because when the fun thing about space is close quarters, contained.
Yes.
Everyone's on a spaceship. You can't get away from each other.
Exactly. Like, I feel like also because I watch a lot of things like Grey's Anatomy and stuff like that, there's a lot of like, crews or like teams or groups of people and the dynamics between them. So it's sort of probably inspired by all of the above, and just something about like tension and people acting like bitches. I want to do a bit of that.
Here for the tea.
Yeah. So that's why I didn't have a single spark. I had several, and it was boiling up in my head.
Yeah, that's so fun.
Making a stew. As far as the scene, it was a pretty specific one because I wanted the horror aspect and everything. So I got some more ideas for that, but I had a romantic tension scene in mind from the start between Themis and Axel, which is they're going to have to go through like a light speed gate at some point, and before they do, the ship has to cool down drastically in order to get in there because everything's going to overheat otherwise. So they have to get in these like sleeping / protective pods. Each person gets in a pod and goes to sleep for the
Oh, cool.
traversing journey, and wakes up on the other side, right, to the planet they're going. And I had like, because I want there to be like a traitor on board, obviously, I wanted something to go wrong with Themis's pod. Someone sabotaged it, and she can't open it. She can't get in it, and the countdown is starting.
Oh my god!
And everything is going to shit. She's like, I'm gonna fucking die. And then Axel gets out of his pod, grabs her, and pulls her with him in his pod. It's basically like, they're built for really big people if you want them to, so it's fine.
That's so good.
And
I love
she
it.
realizes she's attracted to him. So that was like the high action sexual tension scene.
That is the most dramatic only one bed I've ever heard of, and it's so good.
It's only one bed in space. Love it. Never thought of that.
And you'll die if you don't get in this bed, actually.
Yes.
It's so great. So creative.
That's the scene that's been replaying in my head, that I was like, I'm gonna write this book. I need to outline it around that scene.
Yeah.
Right. I have been blabbering on and yapping like forever. So let me scroll back up, because oh my god, we have loads of answers.
I'm excited to see everybody's answers.
I'm very excited. Okay, I found the first one, which was Stieg, I think. There we go. Stieg says, the inspiration for my cowboy book was me watching someone make Wild West fantasy dioramas on YouTube. Yes, you said this.
Please drop the link, if you haven't already, somewhere that I can find it.
I do love the voyeurism of watching people do different hobbies on YouTube. And TikTok as well. I watch a lot of people do that on TikTok, to be fair. And I thought that would be a neat story. And it is.
Yeah, and it is.
First scene I had was a scene between my MC and his love interest. I love that I'm not the only one who's got the first scene is like a love interest scene, but then most of my book is actually plot and action heavy, and there's uni romance.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
That's the group doctor basically, where he's patching him up, touches his hand, but the memories of his touch is painful, more painful than the actual bite he endured from the monster. So he retracts his hand, leaving a lot of unspoken things between them.
Gasp!
Yes, second chance romance.
Oh, my heart.
I love it. Obsessed. Martha says, not sure if this is quite what you mean, but for Project Site, the spark came from a title ID that popped into my head randomly when playing a board game. Oh, I love when the title comes first. That title inspired the key world building mechanic that the story is based around. Interesting. What is that key world building mechanic? You asked. That is a well-kept secret. Only my bitter readers know.
It is a well-kept secret. You've been about that.
All you need to do, Marta, is tell either me or Stieg, and we will reveal it to the world accidentally on screen. As we've both been known to do.
That's so true. That's so funny.
And Stieg says, read my word count for March. My February word count was a hopping 437 words. But now you've got 5K. So
it just goes to show tomorrow can always be a new day.
See, you can't answer a congratulations on your fantastic word count this month with, yes, but last month I sucked. Like, that is not okay.
Correct.
You still have to celebrate the wins.
No qualifiers.
Keiko says, for Project Dying Gods, MC being abandoned in the desert with... I can't say the word desert, by the way. I constantly mix up the thing you eat and the thing with sand. So if I say it wrong, that's why. With having hallucinations, Fata Morgana visions, he sees a red-haired lady. She looks like split in the middle. One version dark, one light. And also the question, what do you do if your god dies? Which is the question for one of the characters in Dying Gods. Have you read Saint of Steel by D. Kingfisher, Keiko? Because that is the question they answer in that book, but it's a romance. It's first and foremost a romance.
I went to a new romance bookstore yesterday, and I almost bought a T. Kingfisher. But I ended up taking home One Dark Window instead.
Oh, okay. Have you spoken to Hudson?
Uh-oh, no, I haven't. Does she hate it?
Very strong opinions.
Oh, no.
I shouldn't have said anything.
I will text her after this.
Don't speak to Hudson. Just go in blind.
Anyway.
Anywho. Hi, JK. How are you?
Hi.
Nina answered, there was one specific scene from My Dark Academia where a side character walks away from a dead body towards her friends, including the MC, and in the background, Carolina by Taylor Swift plays.
Oh.
I love matching a song or like a tune or something to a scene that you've got in your head. I'm obsessed with it. Like for Project Snowstorm, which I've not abandoned, that I will outline. I just have so much world building to do that I was not ready to draft it, and I want to draft. Project Snowstorm, the one scene that's been replaying in my head again and again is the main character saving the love interest guy. He's the badass, he's like the monster hunter and everything, but she's the clever one, and he has survival skills in this like winter storm that no one else does, and so she brings him back from the storm on the back of her horse.
So good.
And she's like given instructions that when she blows in the horn, the castle will blow back, so she knows where they are because it's the middle of the storm, so she can't see shit.
Oh.
And as she rides in, it's all playing on the lyric-less version of Run Boy Run.
Oh my
like
gosh.
the instrumental version of Run Boy Run. And there's like a monster that pops out, and she has to go through the back gate, and the best friend of the male character sees she's going through the back gate, and he's running through the back gate to like, get it open. Like, it's a whole thing. I have
so cinematic.
Everything. It's always my scenes are always just action.
I love it. I love it so much.
So I love when there's like a song that you've got just linked to it. I find it so fun. Susan says, 1,000 feet underground, touring a gold mine. One member of the tour group disappears, and the lift to the surface is not working. Oh my God, Susan, I need to read this.
Oh my gosh.
I love this. I love the concept. Leah says, my idea for my fantasy project came to me in a dream. Oh, I love that. 10 years ago, I wrote it down because I thought it was so interesting to think about the life of someone and their descendant, etc.
Oh.
And then I outlined the thing, and it came together quite naturally. But it took me 10 years to finally write it properly. Sometimes you have to like grow your skills before you can get into a certain concept, right? Like there's some ideas that I'm like, I'm not ready for that yet.
Same.
So I get it.
Yeah.
Hi, Miley. How are you?
Hi.
On stay, but happy writing. Thank you. And then some hellos between people, and then I think this is when we ended the sprint. So Steve got 715 words for the day.
Oh my gosh, nice job.
There's a lot of emotion that goes into a break into 3, and as we know, emotions are my kryptonite. Marta says, I've done barely any editing, but I did pick a song for my intro, so some progress was made.
Good.
It is progress. Progress is progress. Steve says, also watched the beginning of Ariana Grande's newest music video, Brighter Days Ahead. Oh, I did not know she had one out.
Oh, she just dropped the deluxe album, right?
Oh, I don't really follow pop stars dropping albums, to be fair. I just wait until everyone says, listen to that one song.
Yeah, fair enough. I haven't listened to the new stuff.
Or like,
there is.
You know, like on TikTok, people will reuse the sound again and again and again. And I'll be like, I'm going to grow tired of this anyway, so I shouldn't listen to it before.
So true.
Still not sure if I even like this song. Music is hard. Yes, fair. No, we want it all. I don't remember what this was about. I'm so sorry. I have 2 presumed dead characters and 1 actually dead character.
Ah.
So I get you. Yes, I do love a presumed dead, but potentially still alive. Bye, Leah. Sorry, I missed this message, but hope everything is good and that you were productive as you wanted to be. Haley says 500-ish words.
Nice job.
And Nina says, I'm setting up my Scrivener for April, almost done. Nice. Can you tell me what you mean by setting it up for April? What do you do? Like, as in, are you making the scenes, or I don't know enough Scrivener in detail to like picture what you're doing, but I find it intriguing, so call in. Keiko's reincarnation is my top trope as well. Love that.
I love to hear it.
Love it. Martin says, can I just say, Anna, I was speaking at all your mood boards bits in the March spreadsheet. Peaking, sorry. And I am obsessed with Harry's book already. I'm not even sad that it's delaying Project Gemstone.
Thank you, Marta. I'm quite obsessed with it too. Yeah, it's fun.
It looks beautiful. Keiko says, my project CHB has the reincarnation trope. Nice.
Nice.
I mean, I'm still a little sad, but I forgive you.
Thank you.
I think this was about my inspiration, my spark for
Yes.
Project Alien. And Teek says, I'm a little bit sad to Liz Gemstone book 2 because I will never stop preaching Project Gemstone. So what? No updates?
I'm so sorry.
Dyed pink hair is so himbo. Yes, that's why I wanted those vibes. And I also want everyone on the crew to be a lot more like they're all scientists or military background, very polished. And he's just like, no.
Yeah. I love it.
Surfer zombies in space, that'd be so fun.
Oh my gosh.
Very 80s pulp type of
Yeah.
love that. Love it. This is so hot. See, you got to start with a romantic tension scene.
That's right.
So when can I read this?
I know. That's how I feel.
Puts Malin and Steve on bitter reader blacklist.
It's so funny. It's a rite of passage to have something spoiled.
By one of us too. Mark, I'm so sorry. I really thought it was public domain. I can't remember when I said your Project Gemstone title, which I think changed anyway afterwards.
It was not a big deal.
But I realized right after, shit, you hadn't revealed it. Because people in the chat were like, reveal? I was like,
It's so good. I'm so like wishy-washy about titles. I still don't have a title for Hare's book, like not even close.
I feel like the thing is I forget my own title sometimes and I'll come up with something else anyway. So I probably see other people's titles in the same way and I'm like, it's not a big deal. And I realize for some people it is a big deal. And they're like, no one can know that title until it's revealed.
Yeah.
I'm like, to be honest, I'll forget it. No offense. It's just
totally.
I'm just not going to remember everyone else's titles until you've repeated it 5,000 times. Like,
yeah,
I still call a Dark and Secret Magic Tibifo in my head because that's how many times I heard Tibifo first.
Yeah, same. Tibifo truther over here.
There you go. Which is sad because Malin and Steve were top of my list for next bit of read around. No, Marta, share it with us. Steve says that we're reformed.
Mm-hmm.
T. Kingfisher's books are on my wish list for sure. Also, I forgot to say the scene was triggered by Paul from Dune being a bit tricky in the desert because all the spice in the air. Yes, love that.
That's good.
Great pass. Anna, did you go to the Sincerely Yours opening? What is that?
Oh my gosh, that is the name of the new bookstore. I didn't go to the opening because I literally just found out this bookstore existed like 4 days ago. And so they opened, I think maybe like 2 weeks ago. But I went yesterday with a friend and it's so freaking cute in there.
Did you take some footage to show in the vlog?
I sure didn't. I sure didn't.
You tricked me. I sure did.
I took one picture of me and my friend.
Girl.
That was it.
Girl. I'm joking. It's better to enjoy the moment.
I've been in a big vlog slump. And I don't want to bother my friends with my YouTube nonsense.
I 1000% bothered my friend yesterday. We were having a little cheese and wine night and I just took mini vlog videos. I was like, just so you know, I'm gonna film a tiny bit. But I didn't put her in the vlog. I was just like, it's just for bits of, sounds like a mummy dynamic between Rick and Evie. Love it. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's exactly what I want.
Always.
This is what the girlies don't want flowers. They want more Rick and Evie. Hi, Ricka.
Hi.
How are you? Nina says, I'm mostly just adding the things I know I'll need. I added a few folders for potential projects, okay? Because we know me, I can't stick to one, and added some subfolders for outlines, etc. Cool. So you're prepping Scrivener as a whole, not just like for specifically one project. That's interesting. I like that. And Nina says, also playing around with the appearance of it to make.
Of course. Yes, gotta get the vibes right.
Very important. Damn it, Anna. And let us live vicariously through you.
I'm sorry, been in a real vlog slump. I'm trying to piece together what I have so that I can put something up, but I have restarted like a writing vlog
Yeah.
3 times since the end of February where I keep going, like starting a new vlog and then going, oops, I got too busy. Let's try again. And then going, oh no, I got too busy. And like,
Oh my
it's
God.
it's gonna be a bit messy.
I think it's also sometimes healthier to be like, let's not vlog this, let's just enjoy the moment. And
Yeah.
I have been known to go in the opposite direction sometimes too much and been like, gotta vlog this, gotta vlog that, and gotta get my camera out. And it's just,
Yeah.
no, just chill, relax, enjoy it. But then I often also feel like after the fight, I'm like, oh, I wish I had taken a video of this.
I know. I wish I had at least done like one little pan of the shop because it's so
Mm,
freaking cute. And actually, before that, we went to a craft fair at a brewery that was
oh,
put on by a romantasy book club in Atlanta. So all
this
the
is so
craft
fun.
stuff were local makers that were like spicy book themed. So there were like dick shaped bookmarks and like Kindle stickers and like candles. And, it
It's so
was
funny.
very fun.
That sounds very cute.
Yeah.
Not the dick-shaped bookmarks, but that sounds very cute as an idea, as a
Yeah.
concept.
Yeah.
Shall I pop our second question up and then we go into
Let's
our
do
second
it.
sprint? So the second question is, how much does your initial spark change when you start
Mm.
writing? Do you write that scene first or last, if you do have a scene in your head? And does it still exist at all in your story? So sort of like from that spark to when you're actually drafting, has it completely changed? Does it have nothing to do with your original inspiration or scene? Or is it still very much in line with it? I'm
Mm.
curious. We're going to jump into our second sprint. I'm just going to reshare my screen and go into this timer. And shall we just do the entirety, 30 minutes still?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
Good luck. Hello.
Let me stop this. Stop sharing. There we go. How was that sprint for you? How did that go?
Good. I'm going a little slow, but I got up to 5:30 for the day.
Nice.
Yeah, these scenes are just like I'm just really having to take my time and think hard about it. So,
But
but
you'll
yeah.
get to thank yourself later for that because then you'll be happier with the scenes in question. So
Yeah, and I'll feel really good once I get to a scene where I can just la 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 la. La.
sounds good.
But yeah, that was good. How
Nice.
about you?
I went and got some of the last rays of sun. It's still going to be sunny, but we won't get any more sun in the garden. Like it's like
Mm,
leaving the garden area now. There's only just the wall that's like highlighted in sun now.
yeah.
So I'll sit for like 5-10 minutes there and just eat a little bit of yogurt and fruit. And then I filmed some more for like 12 minutes, maybe something like that. I'm not fully finished yet because I used half of the sprint for something else. I just got to the Hightower surprise.
Mm,
I'm almost done with it. So I'm in the middle of the Hightower surprise and sort of walking through it in my vlog. And I figured out some bits as I was talking about them. I was like, oh, I need to have a hint about this in that chapter or like in that scene area. So that's what I was doing, which is why it's taking me a bit longer and I'm going to edit it down drastically. But I still have dig deep down, execute a new plan, final image, and then I'll be done talking about it.
yay!
Yes.
Great progress.
Shall we do the same and answer the question first and then go through the comments? And
Yeah. Yeah, I think as far as the initial spark changing, I don't think it changes, especially for this project. I think it just becomes more complex and I learn more about what's behind that scene. And I've
yes,
crafted, like, if that's the tip of the iceberg, now I know what's underneath it.
yeah,
So if anything, it just feels more 3D. Um, and I was really, this project was very exciting because that like scene that came to me that like really got me obsessed with it was actually like the opening kind of
ah,
chapters. It was like the opening image, Hera's being haunted by her lover from the next life.
such a good opening.
That's kind of her status quo when the book opens.
Yeah,
So that was really fun to be really obsessed with the opening. And that really just like helped me get into the book really quickly and get
yeah,
really excited about it. So yeah.
that's a good point as well. Is where do you place your scene that's been, haunting you, and
Yeah.
does it become like Project Snowstorm, the scene where she's saving him and everything? I know would be my midpoint. Like it's just very obvious to me in the way that I would plan it.
Right.
But that's it. And then sometimes you're like, I have an idea, but I don't know where this would go, and I need to figure out
Yeah.
what beats it would go in. And yeah, for Project Alien, the part where she gets into the pod, and that is sort of like the first moment where something is being sabotaged, and she realizes or like has, a doubt or thinks that someone might be sabotaging things. Where did I put it? Just like
Let's find out.
um because I'm just like, I've written so fucking much. I've got my outline is now 5,825.
Nice. That's fantastic. Is this definitely the most in-depth outline you've ever done?
I feel like the outline I did for Knights of Death was quite full, but it was more me just writing down stream of thought for some areas, and then we're like, should you save the cat? And then we're like, towards the end, okay, this is the all is lost. This is this. Well, here's the first time I've used it properly in like a table format and tried to actively think of what would be that beat. What, is this an upward path? And like try to do a little bit more of that exercise.
Yeah.
Which
Cool.
I don't know if it will serve me, and I don't know if it's something that I'll do again in that way, but so far it seems to be working.
Cool.
And I think with any outline I'll ever do, I'll always be some areas I'll be like, this is the entirety of the scene that I've written down pretty much. high detail.
Yeah.
And in some areas, there'll be like bullet points of she gets out of there.
Yep, that's exactly how my outlines go, where especially because for this book I got all my ideas for the beginning of the book. So the beginning, the spreadsheet was very detailed, and then as I get into Act 3, it's like she figured it out.
Yeah. Like, for instance, I was like, okay, so Themis realizes who the traitor is. And I'm like, how does she figure this out?
Yeah.
I know she knows, but why does she know?
I'm really pantsing. You know, I'm headlights writing. I have some ideas, but I'm really here in the third act pantsing a lot in between beats to try and connect these things together. So it's challenging.
I've tried to highlight as I was walking through them some of the passages that I'm more, this is convoluted. I don't think this would work with that way. I need to write it to know what I'm missing. Because sometimes it's just like I think you learn as you go as well when it comes to outlining. And my first time outlining, I probably had a lot more gaps that I didn't realize were gaps. That was just like, yeah, I've described what happened there, and then I'm in front of the blank page and like, how does it happen though?
Yeah. Thanks, pass me. Thanks so much.
But I feel like I have more instincts about that now. And while I'm writing it, I can feel the areas that I'm going to struggle with. And that's what I'm highlighting. We're like, I need to figure this out a little bit more in detail, or I'm going to be stopped in my tracks when I'm writing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, compared to the initial spark for this one, it is still in the book. It still exists in the way that I pictured it. I think when I first pictured it in my head, I didn't know yet it was going to be, there's a saboteur, there's a traitor on board, and this is this person. And that's been like really helpful to be like, oh my God, it's all falling together. This is why she's actually, sabotaging everything and getting into that. And yeah.
Fun.
So kind of fell together nicely. It's not always the case. And I feel like sometimes it evolves completely away from the initial scene that's in my head. But this one exists, and I found it. It's in my B story fun and game scenes.
Yeah, it's always the fun and game scenes, I think, that are really sparky to me.
Yes, yeah, because often it's like you're telling yourself the promise of your premise.
This was my promise to myself. This is why I wrote the book.
Yeah. This is what I want to give the people and myself.
Yeah.
Let's see what people have answered and what they've done during the previous sprint. Where was I? I need to scroll back up. I think I was around Damn It, Anna.
Somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there. Yes. Keiko said, I managed a few days ago to build my own tracker in Google Sheets. Took a week in frustration. They're waiting for April 1st. Nice. Grape said, I found out about it the day before the opening. Oh, about the bookstore. I'll make it over there one day.
Really cute. It's very cute.
Grape, please give to the people what they're asking for and vlog when you go there, since Anna didn't.
Succeed where I failed.
And Marta says, oh my God, a romantic craft fair. That sounds so cute.
It's really fun.
We've got some answers. Keiko said, depends a lot. Sometimes the original genre changes and then the original scene doesn't fit anymore. True. Marta says, the original concept for the world building mechanic hasn't changed, but I've developed and added to it. Also, the title hasn't changed in years, and I'd be heartbroken if it was revealed prematurely.
Oh.
We'll do our best. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Laura.
Nina says, with my Dark Academia, the whole story has changed so much that the scene won't be quite the same. But I do still want to make sure I add it in, just change it a bit to make it work again. Fair. I also think it depends how many drafts you've got, how many rounds, and whether you're a pantser or an outliner. Because you might have the scene in your head, but then when I was pantsing, I feel like these scenes never exist in the end because I was pantsing, and it was like, where do I fit this in? While if I'm planning for it to happen, then I feel like it has more of a chance to happen and to stay in the book.
Yeah.
Laura says, my story idea sparks are premises, not specific scenes. They stay the same. They stay same as they are the core of the story. Okay. A vampire love story tragedy where the house they are confined to reflects their mental state. So as they fall into melancholy, the house falls into decay. Interesting. Susan says, usually my spark is either the inciting incident or the midpoint. Very often, right? So they tend to stay in the story. That is pretty great. I do love that, like, when you know what beat it is almost immediately. It's a
Yeah.
great feeling because you're like, this is going to stay.
This is not going to be a darling that I have to get rid of.
Steve says, I'm not sure if my spark ever stays the same way as I imagined it. Like most sparks, it's consumed by the accelerant that covers my novel. But, without the spark, there could never be a story.
There you go.
Not for me. Yes. Hi. Hello, Mags. How's it going? Laura says, sometimes my stories are expansions of Drabble or flash fiction I wrote. Those stay 90% intact in the novels, but might have tweaks. That makes sense. Steve says, I got into the core of this break into 3. It's the sister character telling the main character, no, you don't get to do that. You don't get to quit. Love these moments. Yes, being obsessed with the opening. Yeah.
It's very fun.
Hi, Lisa. How are you? General questions. How do you guys choose titles for your stories? Ooh, it's a tough one. I feel like every project depends.
Especially, as I said earlier, I'm very wishy-washy about titles. I really don't like coming up with titles. I would love if someone else titled my books. That'd be great.
Excuse you. We absolutely did, Teague and I. It was Girl Boss, Gemstones,
Gaslight.
Yeah, Gaslight. Gaslight Fantasy, Girl Boss, Gatekeep.
And that was way better than the title that Malin spoiled, and that's why I changed. No, just kidding.
But you've changed your title since then as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I did come up with like a semi final title for Gemstone that I was happy with, and that was just looking at the genre conventions and the sort of titles that similar books had to mine that had that kind of irreverent Victorian era tone where it was silly but slightly historical. So they had like longer titles, and they had the main character's name in the title often.
Which I do love when that happens, yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted a convention that I could use for multiple books, so I could, change the noun in the title, and it would be different for each book. So I thought that was fun.
Yeah, I love when you recognize a series of titles that go nicely together. That's always nice. Yeah. For me, it really depends on the project. I feel like the Art of Summoning Demons, I don't even remember how I came up with it at first.
Such a banger of a title.
I feel like it happened quite quickly, and I was just quickly happy with it and just left it, and it was just pure luck almost. Like it fits. This is nice.
It does. It really does.
I've got a project that went from Project Rose to now currently an office for monsters, and at some point it was an office full of monsters, and before that, what else did I call it? I called it Lockhart and Beckett, which is the name of the company that she works for in the book, but that became more in my head. Maybe that could be the overarching title for her adventures, so like more than one book, like the series title.
Yeah.
And currently I'm sticking to an office for monsters because I like it. But it's changed many times. It could change again. It's not definite.
Yeah.
And I have no title idea for Project Alien at the moment. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I have no.
We'll see.
Yeah. Again, I'll probably do what Anna did and research a little bit the conventions of the genre, other book titles, what I like in those, and what conventions I could be using, all of the above. I feel like sci-fi is harder. I don't feel like I often see, like I never see sci-fi books where I'm like, oh, they all sound so similar, while fantasy has had such conventions for a while of, like a court of blah, blah, a sword of this, a throne of, a Game
There
of
are some words that are like blacklisted at this point because I think they'll just get your book lost in a sea of books.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use glass or sword or throne or thorn or bone.
As a reader, I find it too common as well. Like, I don't want to read any of these because I'm just like, it sounds just exactly like all the other ones.
It gives generic shortbread cookie.
Yeah. But there hasn't been, I feel like, something like that for sci-fi that I can think of. And so it's harder to think, what is like a convention that a lot of books in the same subgenre, whatever, do? Like, the author, I quite like that Right Space Horror, S.A. Barnes. I've got 2 of her books. One is Dead Silence, and the other one is Ghost Station. It's quite simple. There's nothing that feels like a convention in it. It's just
Those aren't necessarily spacey either. Like
Yeah.
those could be thrillers.
Ghost Station is a bit, but it could be a different type of station. It could be a train station, to be
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah. That could be a Riley Sager novel.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, sorry, Keiko, no proper answer there. They argue is my most hated note. About what? Why? Where?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have a big conversation about their feelings. Figure it out.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Michael says, I just have fun. Titles is pretty much my favorite part. I feel like that's because you have the heart of a poet. And poetry, I feel like you could have easily titles that sound like bits of poetry. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if that makes sense, but that's probably why I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. And I can't do that.
Yeah.
Lisa's I'm all right, but having a bit of a mentally rough morning. So hanging out with folks is good. Hang out with us, yes. We'll help you feel better by being silly and probably going over time because it's been 2 hours. I'm so sorry.
It's all good.
Steve says, Gaslam, girl boss gatekeep.
Oh, yes.
I love the girl boss and in the blank of blank.
Yeah.
Love it. I can only do project titles, don't retitle them. Hence why my cowboy book is just called the cowboy book. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do usually find a song title to go with the project. So the cowboy book was known as Black Smoke Rising for eons, but had
That's
to translate
right.
out from that. So now I'm currently calling it cowboy book. Yeah, I think the danger with having a good temporary title, like a song lyric or something, is that then you like, not saying that that was the case for Tibifo, but obviously it was more like the reason was marketing and people behind the scenes saying, here's what's going to sell this book, right? But the problem is like detaching yourself emotionally from something you've been calling it for like a while. I would
Yeah.
find it hard. Yeah.
I would too.
A blank of blank and blank.
This needs to die.
Yeah, it does. It does. Sometimes I immediately have titles like the entirety of 4 books of Project CHB have already titles. Project Our Light is just Project Our Light, or Our Light Escapades, how I call it.
Oh, I love Owlite. That's very intriguing.
Nice word. I think song lyrics could be problematic. Yeah, in the long term, that's what we're saying. But obviously, you can call it for yourself that way. And as a project title, the same way other people will say Project Alien, someone else might say, I've decided to call it that, but it's a project title, right?
Yeah.
It's just that, yeah, at some point you have to be like, oh, I can't actually use this later on, so I probably need to change it before I get too attached. Laura says, as I have had to title over 150 stories, I usually pull the title out of my butt. Sometimes I work them to be more unique, but some anthologies have 2-word title as a requirement for submission.
Oh, interesting.
Requirements, interesting. Yeah, see, I do love the trope of finding the title in the text of the book.
Yeah, I kind of love that too, and that's kind of why I'm really happy to not title them until I have the day that I finally have a final
find the
version.
sentence later on that you've written
somewhere. And I kind of would get really excited about, giving a book to whether that be like a publisher or like final readers and be like, if you had to title this book, in your infinite wisdom, what would it be? And I think that's a really cool exercise.
Yes. There are people whose sole job is to see it from the marketing point of view and be like,
Mm-hmm.
this will sound a bit similar to that one, and your story's a bit similar in vibes or whatever. Yeah. What would you like to do, Anna? Do you want me to flash the third question up, do a small ending sprint, or just go straight for answers? What would be?
Let's do a little baby sprint.
Okay, let's do a baby sprint. I like that. So the third and final question is, how can you create a new spark on purpose if you're able to do so at all? Like, can you do it, or does it have to come naturally? Do you have to wait around for it to happen by chance, basically? This is sort of the how do you get a new idea question.
Yeah.
Can you force it to happen? Can you figure out a new scene in your head, play it like before bed as you go to sleep, and you're picturing it, just
such a good question.
I will get do you know what? Since I did get written permission from Flocus, I'm gonna get a Flocus sprint for our last baby one.
Great.
Let me just change the time first, and then I'll share it. I can just play a break, essentially, instead of an actual sprint. Present. Share screen. Focus. We won't do 40 minutes, don't worry. Do we do a long break of 15 minutes or is that too long? I can do 10.
15 is good.
Yeah, 15 is good? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll keep the cafe. I like the cafe background.
Love it.
Let's go. Let me stop this sprint that is starting. There we go. Another 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm just on the final image. I was so close to being
Oh,
done.
so
I'm
close.
but like but I've been typing new things every single time, so I keep interrupting myself because I'm like, oh, I need to figure this out. Or like I was like, oh, I've planned for, for them to escape on the secondary ship. And I'm like, wait, why did I decide this secondary ship exists?
Outlining is so not linear because you're just going
Yeah.
back and trying to sew up plot holes before they
Yeah.
can open.
But
Yeah.
there's a part of me that feels very satisfied at doing that because it feels like, oh my god, I'm solving this now, not
Yes.
later when I will hate
Yes.
myself.
Absolutely.
Because yeah, I was like, I knew my traitor would have a secondary ship, and I don't know why I decided that in my head. At some point, I was like, wait, why does she have a secondary ship on the planet? And I was like, oh, because she planned on not making it out with the rest of the crew, or to have the ship unmanned, but with the samples she was trying to bring back to her company that is like the competitor to the company that sent them. So basically I was like, okay, there is a reason, I just need to establish it at some point. So probably that goes in her villain monologue, which I don't love, but I'll fix that.
Future Malin can figure that out.
Usually, at least I've got tomorrow as well to figure out some more plot holes before I decide the outline is fully finished.
Yeah.
But yeah, almost there. How did you do for this last one?
Good, good. I only added probably about another 100 words, but I spent a lot of that sprint trying to find a notebook because of this question.
Really?
Yeah.
Love that.
So maybe I'll just segue, but as far as creating new sparks on purpose, this year I have been trying to do the Lindsay Puckett method, which is to keep like
Oh,
a list of little ideas that are interesting to you.
yeah,
And she's talked about how I think she keeps them on note cards. And so when she's trying to come up with a book idea, she'll try and like put some things together and see if they fit and if you
yeah,
can make a story out of them. So I've just like tried to start a list of like when I see something in a movie that's interesting or, oh, I kind of like that dynamic.
yeah.
Or
So
like,
not so much like a list of already there ideas for a book, but
mhm,
more list of things you're intrigued by that could
yeah.
make it into an idea.
Yeah, I'm calling them story seeds, and I could have sworn I started a list in one of these millions of notebooks that I have. And I couldn't find it, so I've started a Notion page.
Yes, I mean, to be fair, what else?
Yeah. So, yeah, like for example, my first one is I love in the like um old Star Wars movies when Luke Skywalker like in the middle movies is trying to resist the call of the dark side and they have him like wear all black for that movie and they're
Yeah,
like, "Luke, are you okay?" And he's like, "I'm fine." And it's just like angsty Luke Skywalker trying to resist the call of the dark side is interesting to me.
yeah, I do
So
love that.
that's a story seed for me.
Oh, I love the name Story Seed. That's so cute as well. That's a great way to see it. And then it blooms.
Yeah. Yeah. So see what I mash it up with.
Yeah, that is very cool. So is that your full answer to how you can try to create a new spark on purpose? Have you actually tried that method so far, or have you just
No,
maintained the list?
this is a new
Yeah,
method for me. So we'll see because I would love to
I'm curious.
um get, generating more book ideas rather than just waiting for them to happen to me
Yeah,
naturally. But if you're trying to spark something on purpose, I would try and follow that YouTube Shorts account because she's just farming them out and like that's
pretty
free
good.
ideas. You could
Yeah,
twist them, mash them.
writing prompts is a great idea, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's one way to do it. Um, for me, I think I can't lie and pretend like I'm not. I think I'm an ID machine. Like I
You are.
just
You are.
they will pop out of my brain all the fucking
But they're
time.
so good though. They're
Most
fully
of the time,
formed.
most of my, like a lot of my ideas will come out of me watching or reading some other form of media, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes a song, and like and I think that's what all of my ideas came from when I was younger, especially is listening to music while walking or commuting or whatever, and imagining scenes. Imagining like a lot of the time they're action scenes because I love to listen to like power walk type of music,
Yeah.
and so that brings in more like actiony type of scenes.
Totally.
And it might be influenced by something I watched 2 days before or whatever. So it might be like, oh, I just watched Pirates of the Caribbean. So now I'm imagining an action scene in a pirate movie.
Yeah.
You know? So it's often like that. But then recently I've also been reading trashy KU books every now and then. And sometimes it will spark an idea of, I could do that better.
Yeah. That's totally part of what a story seed is when I
Yeah.
see some sort of dynamic in a book or movie and I'm like, ooh, I want to lift that up and drill into it even deeper, usually.
Yeah. Like it's either that, and I do love that, or just I love this story that I'm reading or something, but I wish it had this little element or something, and I want to write that version for myself. And then it becomes a thing, and then it becomes like, okay, now I want to write it for everyone else if they do want to read it one day. And yeah, it's
cool.
Yeah. But as far as creating it on purpose, I don't need to, because they'll happen all the time with me. Like
they will.
I am an ID junkie. Like I have
love it.
Problem and a Notion page to prove it. So yeah, how
so fun.
Shall we see how everyone else answered and if they have done some stuff during that last sprint?
Yeah.
I think the last comment right when we jumped into the sprint was this one. So Laura said, tentacles and boomboxes. Fantastic. It's one of my favorite titles I've come up with to evoke the genre and time period. And the boombox and tentacles do play parts in the story. I love that.
I remember that one fondly.
It's such a good name. It's so good. It also sounds like it could be a band name. Like I am
yeah.
I know what type of music they would play. You know, like
totally.
it just sometimes the publishers do weird choices for book titles. My German teacher in high school was telling about her friend who published a book and the publisher changing the really cool and more interesting title, The Border Walker, to the Moldo River here in Europe, in the closet. Oh,
what?
Very, very strange choice indeed. Which in my opinion sounds like one of the Baltic Sea, North Sea-esque fun books, but you buy to read and said beaches. Okay, I can't read today. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
New sparks come flying in, and it's mostly not fun because I want to come into one project. Okay, so we have the same issue. Okay. Especially come flying in when I try to stay at one project. Yeah. For Laura, her sparks come from books I read, movie trailers that promised something the movie did not deliver. Flows, scars, and then mix and match them into premises and choose the one I like most. I can also do mind map brainstorms based on a trope or theme and generate my spark of a premise. I've never tried that. That sounds fun. That sounds great for short stories, actually.
Yeah, I do like mind mapping very much.
Susan says most just appear, but if I'm writing for a contest, I brainstorm around the theme in the call until I find a nugget that interests me. So similarly to what Laura's doing for short stories and stuff. That's cool. Michael says, this makes me think of a quote of Nobuo Uematsu, my favorite composer. It goes something like, restriction sets you free. Yes. My interpretation of this is that when you're trying to solve a problem that you discover something good. And I believe that's an idea applicable to all the arts. I see that as one of the designers I admired the most when I was starting in editorial design, and he worked for Wired magazine, and Wired magazine is considered like a great graphic design. And he basically said, like, I start with a grid and then I break the grid. And it's like sort of similar. It's basically like start with the rules and then break them. And like he was sort of saying, like, it sets you free when you start with the rules, because now you know what to break and how to make it yours and like how to have fun. And I kind of feel like it's the same with writing, which is why I feel like a better writer having read and understood more craft books, because I feel like that doesn't mean I'm going to have to follow them, but now I know what is there.
Yeah, it just gives you some like bumper lanes.
There's more freedom with having rules than I feel like when you don't have any, you don't know what to do and you do nothing.
Yeah.
But when you have some, you know what you want to break.
Yeah. It's like If you have a big sandbox, it's kind of overwhelming. But if someone says, okay, build a castle, but use this pail and this stick,
That's
you're
when
like,
creativity.
fun.
Yeah, agreed. Susan says, I have a dog called the Vault. I'm so sorry.
Ooh.
I have a friend who had a folder called the Vault, and it was all the pics she got from men she was dating on Tinder. So this brought back that
Different
memory.
kind of vault.
Different kind of vault that has fragments of thoughts. Often I browse through and start to combine ideas. I like that. I love that. I realize my answer is missing a chunk in the middle. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Redo. To make story seeds, I make lists of character relationships, vibes, themes, flow scars. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And inferences to mash together, then mix and match into premises. That makes sense. Gotcha. Steve says 1,147 words for the day.
Nice job.
Amazing. And he answered the question. For me, I think sparks just appear. I can't seek them out. I can refill the creative well, which does increase the chance of a spark. But yeah, I have to wait around for it to ignite. I love this metaphor. This is great.
Mm-hmm.
And Stig officially finished Act 2! Oh my god. One day before I said I would. I guess coming up with sparks for Act 3, which I you about so far.
That's fantastic.
I'm so proud of you. I will say though that while I draft, I get a lot of sparks for the current project, but I rarely get a new idea for a new project. All my ideas are always centered around the current projects. Lisa says, I love the idea of needing to know the rules to break them. Breaking rules strategically is so important in my opinion. Yes, I agree. And Laura says, another fix, I also get ideas from movie trailers, books I've read, paintings, song lyrics, anthology prompts. Sometimes I'll pull up a creepy painting and stare at it for inspiration.
I was just going to say paintings are really cool. Like sometimes I get those shorts from art historians who are explaining, the context of a classical painting and the story behind it. And it's fascinating.
My favorite, like there's some TikTok videos where people do that, where they're like, here's all of the symbolism in the details you've missed. That like why she's posing a certain way and looking at this, it means that she doesn't believe her husband will come back from the war. I don't know.
Yeah.
Love it.
And she's holding a pear because that represents blah, blah, blah.
Yes. It makes me want to make up bullshit symbolism.
That's what I'm doing in my whole entire book right now.
But do you know what? Not that I'm loving this journey for me, but I've been reading for a million fucking years or listening to the audiobook of this book on the Habsburgs. Which and fascinating because there is a lot about basically every note I'm taking is always about their propaganda because they did so much propaganda and specifically religious type of propaganda to be like, he was always prophetized to be this godlike being that was gonna rule over the empire.
Of course.
I'm fascinated by that and all the shit they created to be like, no, this was always, there's a painting of him you can see looking like it looks exactly like this new king, right?
Yeah, I love diving into history for stuff like that. Like truth is stranger than fiction. The stuff that has been done by humans is really fascinating.
100%. And I feel like I'm just trying to decide how I'm going to use this in Project Snowstorm, which is also why I've not decided to start with that, and I'm starting with Project Alien. I keep justifying myself to you because you were probably waiting for me to start Project Snowstorm, and I'm like, I'm not doing
No, it's okay. It's all good. I'm really excited about both of them. I'm also really excited about Knights of Death.
Yeah, I need to finish that, don't I?
75% of the way done? That's an easy win.
Yes, I think I just need to unravel some bits. This is the problem when you don't do a good outline. Yeah. And that's probably what I'm learning from doing this outline is trying to fix problems before they're going to arise this time.
Yeah.
And woo, Stig, amazing. And he also loves this painting and the historical explanation and all that. Susan said, I totally forgot I wrote a short once. That was the origin story for the Mona Lisa. Love that.
Love.
And Laura's inspiration, In the painters is Bikinski, Dali, Goya. That's great. Keiko's hopping off. We're going to finish soon. Don't worry. You're not missing anything. Thank you for the stream and sprints. Thank you for coming. And yeah, that was our last question. And that was our last comment. So
Yay.
this is it. Pretty much.
We did it.
We did it. And I feel like people were very productive. So
yeah, absolutely. Especially Steek.
I'm very impressed.
That was a long journey for you. I know. I'm so proud of you.
Now, Steek, don't go into my curse and don't stop there. You have to write Act 3 because that's what I did with Knights of Death. So
yeah,
just finish it.
Persevere.
Yes. Last tiny question from me. What are people planning to do in April for April Adventures? What are you guys going to be working on?
Oh yeah, let's chat.
New idea, drafting, revising, outlining. Like what are you guys doing? What are you doing, Anna? Are you still on Project Hera?
I am. I just made my Track Bear account during one of the sprints, actually. So I'm on the leaderboard now for April Adventures, and I think I have it set up right now for me to do 15 hours in the month of April because
Nice.
I feel like, on a good day, I can get 1K words an hour. So if that's 15K, I should be able to finish the book by then. I really, really hope.
I think it's better to tell yourself that, I want to write for this much time than to say, this is where I want to get to, because you don't know what your book is going to do to you. Like, I feel like sometimes you're like, holy shit, why is Knights of Death 100 already and I haven't finished the book? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense in my head.
Yeah, I'm really hoping if I put in 15 solid hours, like, really think I should be able to finish it by then. So that's my goal. How about you?
I'm gonna start drafting Project Alien. That's the plan.
Yay!
I actually have a dual goal because I want to do that, and then I want to, in the second half of the month, at least, start going through the query trenches again for demons. So I need to do my last little bits of revisions and all that. And yeah. That's the plan.
Amazing.
But I've been craving a new draft. So
yeah, you've been working really hard in the line editing trenches.
Yeah, I'm so fucking done with it.
Ready for a different kind of writing.
Not even a different project, but just a different task. Like, I just don't want to do line editing and like, the last bits of the revision is so grueling at some point. I'm just so tired.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to drafting something brand new, basically. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I can see that Lisa says getting 20 hours of reading minutes. Love that. It's a healthy, very healthy goal. Susan says working on the Goldmine horror in April. Nice.
Exciting. I love that premise.
Yes, same. Laura's gonna draft her Halloween romance. I have 1,050 words so far in the first draft. Nice. Good start. Steek says I'm finishing Act 3 for April.
Yes, you are.
You have to, or else you will perish.
Turn into smoke when the sun rises on May 1st.
Yeah. Michael is starting with research into literary agencies. Amazing. Very exciting. Very exciting times. Nice. Well, that was my last yapping bit.
I'm getting really excited. The leaderboard has a really good like camp vibe that has been lost. And I think like a little bit of healthy competition is the key, in my opinion.
I think for me, it's not even the competition, it's the observer in me. Like, I just want to, like, I'm a people watcher, I think. So I just enjoy watching how other people are doing. And I don't really feel competitive towards other people because I'm like, we're not working on the same things anyway, so it doesn't matter. I feel competitive with myself. I'm more like, you better find get it done.
Yeah, I would really love, obviously, if I wrote more next month than I wrote this month. So
yeah,
that alone will feel good.
But you're moving the plot forward, so
Inch by inch.
Word by word. And thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you, friends.
Mostly because I'm so over this drafting stage. Yeah, we all get over whatever stage we're in at some point or another, and we're just craving the next one. Susan says the accountability for me. You will all say if I don't do it.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Accountability and competition for Lisa. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. And there's so many joining the leaderboard. Yes, it's exciting. Thank you guys for coming to the stream. We'll be doing another one quite soon that we've already planned.
Yes, our April one is coming up more
13th.
quickly. Yeah.
13th of April on Anna's channel. So we shall see you there. For once, it's already planned in advance, which is crazy.
Look at us.
Look at us. All right. On that note, as usual, I don't have an outro, so it shall be a cold ending. Goodbye.
Bye.